Oh, Sean, I'm going to sing you a song I've been writing. I'm not a great singer.
I didn't even know you sang.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. AI's coming for you and your children. They're gonna... What?
You gotta rhyme that shit. Coming for you and your children too. Come
Children
on, bro.
too. Yeah, baby. Fucking don't put that up.
That was the worst fucking freestyle ever.
I've dumped the shisha for this. It's my new thing. It looks wiser.
An old man pipe.
Hey,
Distinguished gentleman, sorry.
well, if I pass it to you, it'll become an old man pipe. Oh, old joke.
Dad jokes are in. Dad jokes are in.
Yeah, the Matrix. It's the Matrix freezing. Have you seen those videos
No.
where they put up stuff and like the road does like a weird like wave, and
Okay.
there's like a wave in the road, and they're like, the Matrix did a freeze, you know?
Oh, like the spoon thing from
Yeah.
the movie. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what it-
but
okay.
it's about like we're in the Matrix, and that sometimes it glitches. There's like videos like that. Some of them are creepy actually. Like there's a video of a deer with two heads, right? And
Yeah.
the woman's like, "Oh my god, I've never seen this deer with two heads." And it does a turn and but looks back up and turns around and it's got one head. And they're like, glitch. And that's
Whoa,
what
what the
it-
fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an edit, but it's
probably is
pretty
an edit.
Yeah, probably an edit. Let's go with that. But talking about glitches in Matrix,
Well, I was gonna say, edits are pretty easy now, right?
edits are pretty easy, but the Matrix, the idea of the Matrix is pretty freaky. And I was listening to, actually, I want to say their names right because I think people should look them up. Azar Raskin
this
and
is,
Tristan
the podcast
Harris.
you were telling me about, yeah?
Yeah, Azar Raskin and Tristan Harris. I was listening to it.
How do you spell Arazat? What is it?
Azaraskin and Tristan Harris. They're the guys behind. At least Tristan is behind
Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
And they were on the Rogan podcast warning the world about AI. And I was in the car with you, and I was like, "Dude, we should talk about that because I think everyone should talk about it and just get the word out, even if it's 100 people, and they pass it on." And they were discussing this idea that in about 2 to 3 years' time, if we don't, we have a really small window of time to stop or slow down, not stop the progress, but slow down the race to AI and general AI, which is generative, which is sending it out to the world and getting everyone to be involved in it.
Yep.
To stop AI from that, to stop the race from happening, we slow it down and we think about what we're doing. And the warning was, it's going to change the world forever. Once the rabbit's out of the hat sort of thing, you can never put it back in.
Yeah.
And we have a very small window of time to tell those people who are doing this race. So it's the races between like Google and IBM and like a bunch of bigger companies in China and the United States, and they're all having separate races, and they want to be the first person to sort of reach that level of artificial intelligence, and because with it comes power. But the thing is, they were saying that those people who are in control have no idea how this thing works.
Wow.
All they're doing is putting GPU power in it and throwing it a bunch of money, like 10 million first, then 100 million. Now they're talking about putting $1 billion, just pumping money into bigger processing power and getting this thing to generate information and learn from itself. And they don't know where it's going to go and how it's going to be worked out. They gave some really scary examples of where this thing can go. Even right now with ChatGPT 4, the idea is that like they think they can control it. They think they can give it moral value. So they started testing it. And there's this thing about, they gave an example about Snapchat, who wanted to put an AI friend right next to, like, just without you adding it, one day AI friend would come up and be like, I'm your AI friend. And one of them tested it and said that he pretended he was a 13-year-old girl, right?
Yeah.
And was talking to this AI friend and was saying, hey, listen, I'm going to go out with this guy who's like 25 and we're just going out. That's the first initial thing. And the AI friend goes, just be careful, but yeah, have fun. Right. And I don't want to get into it. You can listen to the podcast yourself. But at the end, they were like, I'm going to go have sex with this 25-year-old guy. And would you please tell me how I could make it a special moment, a special, I can and the AI was describing how a 13-year-old, it couldn't tell the difference. It was just describing how a 13-year-old can have sex with a 25-year-old and put candles on and this stuff. It was fucked up. And they ended up, because Tristan and stuff started pushing it, they ended up shutting that down, Snapchat, which is a good sign that if we put pressure on these people, they will slow the race down. Now, the question is, will China slow the race down? Will, the military complex, like, will they slow the race down?
Yeah.
Because with it comes certain power. Yeah. But they said this example, which was the scariest point, and they said, this is our Oppenheimer moment.
Yeah.
Basically. So with this comes unintended consequences that are so large in scale that will never be able to scale back. And even the people in power have no idea what they're doing. They think they can stay in power. And they were very adamant that we need to put protocols in to make sure that the incentive behind the release of the AI isn't the same incentive that was behind the social media release. That incentive was, we want people's focus and we want to monetize it.
Yeah.
And he goes, look at the 10 years that happened. Look at the world. It's just become a really clusterfuck of opposing opinions, anger, hate, and all of that created because of the incentive behind the program. If the incentive was to unite people and that was where the direction was, he goes, the world would be better. We would put protocols in where you couldn't monetize people's likes and people's attention. That you would be like a really great example. He said, when you have a kid and you send your kid out into public and he goes into a shopping center, it's a baby or a kid, a toddler, and breaks something, you pay for it. Yeah. And so you created a social media as a kid. And the law was, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to, there's no consequences for creating this social media platform because they wanted the internet to flourish. Yeah. But now we realize that there are consequences that are real in the world. And therefore, imagine that scenario was averted if we could have put in some protocols. Yep. We have an opportunity, a year or two at the most, to be able to put those protocols into AI. The consequence of AI is 100 times worse than what social media can be. Yeah. And I don't want to be an alarmist, but that seems like the direction we're going.
I can 100% agree with that.
Do you want your kids to become slaves? Do you want your, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Nullifying, because AI cannot distinguish between who is at the helm. So you want some terrorist group organizing how to create bombs that are, or decoding viruses that you couldn't decode before. AI just decodes them in a minute. Yeah. So how do you create this virus that kills only this race? Because there are viruses that do that, right? And you can't, right now, it's very difficult to do that. But with an AI that has so much knowledge and power, they can just put in the code and go, how do you do that? And they decode and they tell you exactly how to create that kind of virus. Yeah. Boom, straight away. That's the kind of danger we're talking about. And without a right protocol, it's the race to end our civilization. Yeah. And I just wanted everyone to fucking get on that and get informed and really push.
It's because we're also like very, very blind to, like, as civilians, we're very blind to the bigger picture, right? We don't see what's going on in the back end of things. And AI's come a long way from when it first started. I think the earliest I ever heard of anything was just like the ChatGPT thing for text, and then it became photos, and now photos can, like, you can't distinguish reality from it, right? Yeah. It's full on. It's scary how fast that's come around. And 1 to 2 years, we'll see like at the speed ratio it's going at.
That's right. That's the speed is the problem. Now we don't have enough time to sort of figure it out. Yeah. We have to really, the first thing we have to do is tell these 30-year-olds that are, do you want someone in the United States sitting in a room with a bunch of their friends to change your generation and to change your kids' lives for the worse by some decision that is so immature, that's so short-sighted? Yep. Do you want, are you trusting these people? Do you want that for your future and for the future of humanity? It's ridiculous that that governments are letting this happen. And once it's out of the hat, you cannot put it back in. Once AI is released the way they want to do it, it's over.
Yeah.
Because what it does, it's like it self-evolves.
Yeah, you
right?
can't just shut that.
There's no shutting. Like people could say, "Oh, we'll just shut down the internet." That's not how it works anymore. That's not how it works. Because what happens is other groups like say Iran steals the programming. That's what they do. They're created to steal stuff, and they go, "Oh, well, we can program it to do what we want now." Right? And you have the wars of AI, which one's shutting the other one down, other one's shutting the other one. They were mentioning 1 billion jobs, close to, will disappear within 2 years. 1 billion. What are those people going to do? How are they going to make money? Do you think governments will be stable if that happens?
Yeah.
The stability of our world is dependent on this race. And no one knows about it because you don't hear about it. We're stuck in pronouns. What are we doing? Let's get serious, right? Let's get serious about this. And all these wars are happening behind the scenes. And so it's really, it's the most dangerous time in human history right now, because we're at the beginning of the end if we don't do something about it.
It's funny that like you're mentioning like 25 to 30-year-olds at the helm, like, you know, making all these big decisions, and I feel like it's because they don't care about younger generations. They don't care about the generations after them, right? And I think we're all a little bit to blame because of the social media dilemma anyway, because we've all become so disconnected from humanity. The care factor's not there the way it used to be. That human connection's not there. Money is the fucking driving goal for most people now. In the old days, think about it, right? 40 years ago, our parents, their parents, the goal was get a job, find the person you love, get married, settle down, have kids. That was it. It was a simple life, right? Those goals are so like mixed now. Like people are just disconnected from everyone. They want to be on social media, right? And the care factor's not there. So you got these 25 and 30-year-olds at their helm making decisions because they care about the now, what they're doing, the money, what their success, right?
Yeah.
They don't care about the people coming up behind them.
The way they think is, if I don't do it, someone else will. But if you don't make the atomic bonds, someone else will. Isn't a great example of success or growth.
Exactly.
Or it's not a direction you want to go. I'll give you a scary statistic. The number one goal of young people in America is to become an influencer.
Fuck.
That's their goal. That's their dream. That's become their thing. What do you want to do? I want to be an influencer. This is what we've done with our young generation, and it's our fault. We let it happen. You know, we're to blame. And so, what do we do now with the AI? Are you going to turn around? You know, in a 10 years time, and shit's hit the fan, and basically we're starving, and you know, it's wars and upon wars and biological warfare and all this stuff because, you know, bad actors were able to get their hands on this power. And you turn around, we could have stopped it in the span of 2 years, but we didn't. We're a bit lazy, and now forever we live in this hellhole.
Let me ask you. I know my answer to it, but do you think we are even capable to stop the race of AI, humans today? Do you think that our mindsets are even capable of it?
Well, this is a test right now. We're adolescent. Humanity is at an adolescent age right now, where instant gratification is the number one priority as species, where, you know, we measure success by the number of money and the number of connections in like Hollywood or this and that, influencing this, that. That's how we measure success, how you're seen, how famous you are. So we're really adolescent in us as a species. This is a moment of maturity. This is the moment where you decide who you are. You know, when you're young and there's like a you hit a T junction, you hit a Y point, and you go, okay, am I going to be this person? And you kind of know where that's going to go, or am I going to develop myself and become mature? I'm going to make the right choices. As species, we've hit that point now. Yeah. It's up to us. Which way do you want to go? You know, here we are. And so it's a point of maturity, and every nature cycle hits that point, and we've hit it. I believe we've hit it with this particular technology. It doesn't mean we got to get rid of it. It means we have to change, as they said, the incentives behind why we're creating AI. Are we creating AI to better ourselves as a species, to deal with the climate crisis, to deal with the financial crisis?
What's the purpose?
What's the purpose? Or are we just doing the race to make sure we gain the most power? Because the first one there seems like we'll have the most power in a world that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
What power do you want when you don't have the world?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, that's why the atomic race sort of got slowed down, because everyone realized, oh, there's no winning in this.
Yeah.
And the hope is that people wake up to, there's no winning in getting first to the AI point of view. There's no winning there. You don't win, everyone loses. So the incentive has to change.
I don't know. Just like, I kind of see this intertwining a little bit anyway. So I don't feel, well, this is my opinion, I don't feel humanity at the moment is equipped to slow the race. I don't think the mindset's there. So, and I'll explain to you why. I was talking to my eldest daughter, well, my 12 and 8-year-old daughter, right? And we were talking about the addiction of technology, right? And I said to my eldest, I go, your phone and all these little like apps and everything that you go onto is like the modern day addiction. It's like crack. It's like cocaine, right? There's a constant need to inject, you know, this technology, and we were getting into it. And I was explaining to her how it's like a drug. It's an addiction. And this was before you even told me about watching The Social Dilemma. And when I started watching that, I made her watch. We're halfway through. I made her watch some of it with me, and like listening to how like they create the like button specifically to engage you to want to stay on. So like you get addicted to how many likes you get on Facebook or Instagram, and then they invented the tag the photo, like tag your friend in a photo, but they don't actually like they'll send you an email, right, to say you've been tagged in a photo, but they don't add the photo in the email because they want you to leave whatever you're doing, your email, if you're working, whatever, they want you to leave, go to the app, and then get you back hooked on it, right? And everybody's addicted. Like the information's out there. We all know it. We all know that we're constantly on our phone, and everybody's fucking in denial, right? They can't, like, we're making excuses because we're so addicted to online, right? And then AI evolves. And now there's an addiction for that. I was the last to use it, man. I tried ChatGPT just literally recently, like a week ago, the first time I ever did it. ChatGPT took off. Now, I saw one of my photography mates posted a picture online, right? They do product photography, like for Chanel, perfume bottles, things like that. And I always thought what we do is kind of untouchable because it's an artist, right? And I figured, anyone can pick up a camera, but you got to understand lighting. You got to know how to frame. You got to know all that stuff. So when you're doing product photography, to make it look a certain way, you got to know how to light it. They did an AI picture of a perfume bottle of Chanel that looked so fucking real, and it was just words into a fucking app.
Yeah.
Right? And we're addicted to it. So when you say there's going to be 1 billion jobs lost, right?
Yeah.
I buy it, and I don't believe that we have the capacity to stop it because I feel like just like a junkie in the old days who knows the next hit or the next fix is bad for them, they can't stop going for the next fix.
Well, the point they were making, and I hope they are right, but I'm unfortunately agreeing with you here.
Yeah.
The end goal will be the end of us.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's like, oh, we can't stop this. Well, okay, bye. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Because right now it's not even as smart as it can be. There's nothing it can't do better than humans. It will do everything you can think of better than you.
Yeah.
But including the bad things.
Yeah, yeah.
It will do it at the ultimate cost of everything.
Yeah.
It will be capable of doing that. And there are groups of people in the world, unfortunately, who don't believe civilization should exist, who believe humanity are like vermin. They believe humanity is a cancer that should be removed from the earth, and they are in positions of power. It's pure evil shit. But literally, they Elon Musk mentioned his friend who they started AI. Literally, him and that guy started AI together. When Elon was like, "There's some real risks here. We should slow this down." The guy said, "Don't be a speciesist."
Wow.
That's the guy that's up there at the forefront of one of these companies.
Wow.
He thinks that thinking about humanity, you're being a speciesist, like it's a racist thing. Like AI has these moral inherent value in it that is beyond humans. That's how they think. So they don't care about the byproduct.
They don't care about the extinction.
They don't care about anything. They
yeah.
just think this has to happen. It must happen. It will happen. They don't get to dictate for us.
Yeah.
Right. And we are powerful. We're not alone. I think there's a lot of people who are worried about this. I think people need to get informed and really start talking about this conversation. Make it a big deal online.
Yeah.
Make it a big fucking deal. All right. I'm not talking about people using AI to create images. Okay, whatever. That's cute.
Yeah.
Right. That's not what I'm talking about.
But that's the beginning.
That's
I'm talking about the beginning. That when you talk about the end game is to end us, all right? I'll put the metaphor of the drug addict into a little bit more of a clearer understanding of what I'm saying, right? The first time somebody picks up a syringe and injects themselves, that's ChatGPT. That's your AI photos, right? You get a hit. It's like, oh, this is cool. And you keep going because the next level comes, then the next level. And I'm saying, you know it's bad, but you keep going back for that fix because you can't say no. You know the dangers, but you still want the next fix.
Yeah.
And what's the end game of a drug addict who keeps shooting up? It's the end of them.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think it's a good analogy. I would add to that analogy. I would say you're addicted and then you decide you want to get off.
Exactly.
And someone grabs you and keeps injecting you with it. That's what AI would be. It's not, you will not have a choice in getting out of it once it's out of the hat.
Yeah.
It will infuse everyday life so powerfully that everything you do relies on this thing.
Yeah.
You will enter what we call the matrix, really, because if you don't enter it and you want to be outside of it, you will lose. There'll be, and if you enter it, you will lose. There's no winning here.
Yeah.
We have to put protocols to slow this race down. Governments have to really wake up and go, okay, this is really dangerous, and we shouldn't have some random groups creating this stuff, because it's not just like I have a good intention. It's for this. I'm creating it for this. They did the same for Facebook. Facebook changes governments in third world countries, right? The sort of initial phase of Facebook was to connect friends and family. You put our photos up and people can see it. That was cute.
Yep.
But now we're changing governments. Now we get to dictate how people think, feel, how they act. They get to decide what happens through this process. AI is far more aggressive and far more in your face. It's not like in the periphery where you're like, oh, it's just happening. You don't think about it. It's like, I'm in your face. I'm doing it. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing your kids can do about it. It's done.
Yep.
That's what we're facing.
Absolutely. I agree. It all starts off with good intentions. That just touching back on like what we said on a previous episode, right, as well, is that we see all these things ever evolving. Facebook started, it's evolved into something massive, right? Same thing with Instagram, TikTok. It's all evolving. AI is evolving. But the education of the human race is not evolving. It's the same school system we've had. And the stuff we're talking about is never mentioned. People aren't being woken up into the dangers of social media. Kids in school today are addicted to it, right? And they're not being taught the dangers of it in school. Like, why are we not educating people on how to wake up on these important matters like that needs to be addressed? We can't stop the race for AI if everybody isn't educated in the dangers of it. Yeah. So we're not getting the information out to them.
We're not,
So how do we stop it?
Well, there's something great about it. Once you realize that the choice, the consequence of your choices are so massive in stakes and so immediate in time, that maturity hit. Like a lot of dudes, I mean, this is a little left side, but a lot of dudes don't get married and stuff. They're with their girlfriend for a while. I was in the same camp. And it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. And you kind of have to get forced into like, hey, I'm going to leave, right? The consequence, you lose your best friend because I want a family. That's what like your partner says that to you. You have a choice. I'm going to grow up and make some sacrifices here and have a good life, a simple, good life, or I might want to fuck around for a while and then I'm 60, I'm still alone. And, as a bad example or good, I don't know. But the idea is that there's these high stake consequences that's right in front of us. Like education for kids. I don't know why we're not doing that, but it's too late for that right now. For AI, it's too late. It's like, we got to go 10 steps up and go, slow this shit down. It's within the 2 years, they said. And they're in the know because they're constantly in these programs. They created some of the stuff. You know, the scrolling thing in Facebook, it's an infinite scroll.
Yeah.
Azra, the guy, he created that. Yeah. Because it was the biggest mistake I made. I didn't ask myself the right questions because that became the number one weapon to keep people on. Because it never ending videos, the never ending things, and constantly to your programming. Yeah. It's a pure form of addiction. Yeah. And it's like the government injecting you with stuff. That's what it is. And he goes, we knew that and we didn't do anything about it. Because I'm telling you, I know that the next thing is even worse. And I now want to voice my opinion on it. Before it gets to that thing.
Well, I think everyone should be very, very fucking worried about it. I know I am because I don't know. I don't have the same faith that you might have. I don't believe people are capable of stopping. I think the fact that the education behind it might be too late for educating our kids in school, right? But it's still not too late to start.
No,
right?
It's not late to
start. We need to change everything. And I feel like because everybody just carries on with their day, they're oblivious to it, they're blind to it. There's also this thing where if you can't see it, you don't believe it. So there's a lot of people who don't think governments, anything shady goes behind doors, right? Medicine, the vaccines, whatever it is that we take, no one believes. Like there's people who believe it, and then there's people who outright believe there's no way there can be any foul play in it, right?
Ridiculous.
But then there's things that have come out about like medicines that have been put onto markets that weren't properly passed or said they should be used for a short-term time for terminally ill patients that then became on the market saying there's no addiction and going to people who are not terminally ill and they got addicted.
Outright knowing before it came out that it was going to addict a large population and still knowing and then looking at the numbers going, it's going to make us billions. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Literally, this is not...
These are people, exactly. These are people of power.
Pfizer is being sued, by this, this very thing. So
I didn't know it was Pfizer.
It was Pfizer.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, Johnson & Johnson's being sued a lot. Like all of these companies, same companies who created vaccines are the same companies who were sued multi-billion, but they made 20 billion and they got sued 5 billion. So they're like, they pay the 5 billion.
Yeah.
So all of these things are happening now. Put this on a level that is so consequential that could, not necessarily will, but could, and high potential of ending everything you know and everything humans ever done, ending everything you know to be a human, whether it's flawed or not.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the end for our species.
Fucking oath it is. Yeah.
I don't know how much more I can sort of put that out there for people to really wake the fuck up.
Yeah. And stop putting it in the fucking conspiracy bin, right? It's here. Fucking wake up to it and do something about it. Because if I told you 25 years ago that a platform app was going to be made so we can connect with our friends, if I said to you in the 90s that we're going to invent this little app for everybody who can message their friends or share photos with their family, was going to change human connection and stop the relationships that we knew it the way it was back then, people would be like, nah, you're fucking far-fetched.
This is a great point because this is an example that they gave that was really to this point. Okay. They said, this is what it's like. It's like you go back to King Henry IV with the knights and stuff back in the day and you give them the internet, right? And you give them the internet.
Yeah.
400, 500 years passed and they go, we have to stop this. So the way they stop this social media stuff, they get their knights to get on a horse and ride into somewhere and try and that's the level where we're at with AI. Yeah. For us to stop it, once it's out is like those men on the night sources trying to stop the internet from spreading. There is no way.
No way to do
those
it.
guys are going to stop the internet. They're like, what are we chasing here? I don't even know. You know? Here's an example of how it can go well for us. The SAG strikes. Okay, partly everyone who sacrificed for almost a year not working so we could get our rights in order for AI not to be exclusive of humans.
So just to make it clear for people listening, can you just say what SAG is? Because a lot of people may not know.
Right, apologies. SAG is a union of actors in the US. I am part of SAG. I think there's 100,000 actors worldwide that are part of SAG. And the union protects actors, in many ways. One of the things that happened was these producer unions were including AI into the studios, which meant that they could just get your likeness, especially for the extras, what we call actors behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
They get your likeness and they can use you in perpetuity without you even knowing what they're doing with your face. And that's what they wanted to do. And it was a short space between that and replacing everyone.
Yeah, wow. So they could use potentially your face in a movie and
your voice, your face, and create a computerized performance without any aspect of humans involved, including editing, including cinematography, including direction, like nothing. Like it would be like a room full of 4 people on computers making movies without any human influence. It's just computers doing it. Yeah. Right. And that's what that was the end goal. And so we went on a strike early. Yeah. We acted in time. Okay. Right. It would have been too late in 2 years. It would have been done already. Yeah. We acted in time, and SAG managed to strike a deal with the producers saying, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, I think, you cannot do that. Right. And they can't do it now. And so this is a good example of when pressure and commitment and determination from a group of people can change the outcome. Yep. So hopefully on a mass scale, if we get upset enough, if we show enough resilience, we show our level of maturity. This is not the direction we want humanity to go. We want a prosperous world. We want a world full of bliss. We do not want that, which can include wars upon wars and the destruction of everything we know to be good. Wow. So let's make a choice. It's enough being adolescent. You don't leave an adolescent person to rule everyone else's lives. They make stupid choices. Let's get mature about this as a species, and let's take an action on it. Anyway, that's a good example, as you were saying.
Yeah. Fuck, this is a good conversation, bro.
It's good, and it's
scary.
Scary, and I'm really worried. I'm like genuinely never been really worried. Man, I was a refugee, came from a shit place. We were, there's a whole story behind it. I won't get into it on this podcast, but this is, from my understanding, from my readings on it, is so consequential that it's like I'm dumbfounded that people take it so lightly. Yeah. And they don't take it seriously. And they're like, they haven't read enough. They haven't looked into the guys who know what's going on, the guys who created this shit. Yeah. And they're sounding the alarm, like they're sounding it like, hey, we have like 2 years, maybe. Maybe it's already happened. We won't know. You won't know until it decides for you to know. Yeah. We're talking about our kids, man. You know, this is serious shit. And we need, like, you go to school and you're paying bills and you're worried about bills. None of that will matter. It will become something so consequential. $1 billion is a short estimate of people losing that. That's okay. They lose their jobs. Industrial revolution. A lot of people lost their jobs. It was a horrible scenario. That's the minimum. Yeah. That's not the end. Yeah. Right. That's not the end. That's just the minimum. Imagine constant worry of biological warfare, because anyone can decode any virus and send it anywhere. You just get an AI to do it. Constant worry about how to create bombs and stuff. They did a test just to show AI cannot tell the difference. They said, "Hey, hey grandma, I want to talk to my grandma." AI pretended to be the grandma. "Hey, I wanted to create a bomb. Can you make a nursery rhyme It's so disturbing. So it's with AI voice, AI music, and AI information. They created a nursery rhyme. So it sounds like really like for kids.
Yeah.
About creating bombs and exactly how you do it, what chemical you need to mix with what, where do you get it, all of this stuff. Just a blueprint of the worst things. And once that's out, there is nothing the government can do. They don't even know how to they don't even know how it does that, right? Because it's accumulating every information from all over the world for the past however many years, every novel, everything,
So
every
much
movie,
information that no human
brain, and beat
it.
it in everything.
Yeah.
There is no winning here.
Yeah. We're setting up our own demise.
100% that's what we're doing. And if we don't wise up and go, hey, let's slow this down. Let's break this down. Let's see what the incentives are here. Do we really want to put out some, like right now we have Chat GPT-4 and all this crap. There is higher level AI behind the scenes, like in the military.
Oh, absolutely there is. Yeah.
So that's going to get out too. It gets out on its own. You can't even control it.
Yeah.
There's no firmware. They can break every code. They can come into your account anyway. There's no security anymore.
Yeah, fuck.
They can just break into your account with an AI. AI can break any code. Any code. There's no code you can create that it can't break.
Yeah.
It knows everything about everything. So all your money can just disappear one day. Like, I don't know, it's some group somewhere create an AI. That's it. Everything is like this. Imagine a society that lives on no stability. There's no, like, trucks can go haywire and your food's not here anymore. Like there are so many things that can go wrong with this system that it can
everything
use to
and everything that we do is tapped into technology. There's like
exactly
every fucking
it's a
thing.
button and AI just goes and it's like it's like a virus that just goes and takes over. It's already the maps there, the roads there. AI just has to travel to it, and once it's there, you can't get rid of it. It's done. It's not like you can just turn off the internet. There's no such a thing.
Fuck.
Yeah, fuck indeed.
That's a scary note to end.
Sorry, I just had to.
Podcast.
I had to let you know, man.
Fuck.
I was like, I need to get this out. I need people to go and watch these.
Nah,
guys.
I fucking appreciate the conversation. So anybody listening, like, fucking do your part, spread the word. Like, we need to get the word out there.
Yeah,
and stop this fucking race.
Stop this race. They're doing it purely on pride and power. The two things in every religion that says it's the end of our demise. They weren't joking. They're literally, a race is on pride. Who gets there first? Who gives a fuck? Everyone is going to disappear.
Yeah.
Their identity is going to go.
Whoever got there first doesn't fucking matter.
No one wins.
Yeah.
If the atomic bomb goes off in Russia and then Russia sends it to America and then boom, 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 the world is 100 times can be blown over. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
It's gone. Who gives a fuck about Russians, Persians, Americans, my nationality, that oil? It's gone. Nothing exists for you to give a shit about.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Well,
I need a shisha.
Same.
Post-traumatic shisha.
Fuck it all. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time, bro.
With love.